Well, Southampton, as you've been hearing, the earliest side ever to be relegated after their defeat at Spurs. Liverpool losing for just the second time this season to Fulham, and it finished 0-0 in arguably the worst Manchester derby of all time. Former Premier League boss Alan Pardew told The Final Word that it's a sign of where the Premier League is going.
That was boring, wasn't it?
It was a tough watch, but it's not unlike a lot of games this season. I was on earlier with Sam, who obviously they were the guys doing the game, and I mentioned it briefly. The two styles really that are dominating the Premier League: possession-based football and counter-attacking football. That's your two real bases of setups, and it's not making for great viewing.
We didn't make for great viewing there, but it's a generalisation, isn't it, to say that that's the direction the Premier League is going. There have been some fantastic matches this season.
Yeah, but I do see Alan's point, though. It's becoming a lot of the same football, a lot of the same styles. Everyone's trying to be ball dominant and play with the ball and run beyond people. I just think it's perfect for Nottingham Forest. I think for English football, everyone should be supporting Nottingham Forest at this moment in time. They've gone anti-football, should we say, or pragmatic football, but they've got the best squad that they can assemble. The player and a manager, they're all buying into what they're doing, and they've just got proper centre halves. It's proper. When you went and watched Hartlepool and you see proper tackles, proper heading. When I watch Forest, I go, they're proper centre backs, they're proper centre halves. That's a proper centre forward, and I'm buzzing that they're third. And I hope that other teams now, especially the teams coming for the Championship, will look and say we should use that model. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. What I did think it tells you, Troy, is just how much both Manchester clubs, and I mean both Manchester clubs, are heading in the wrong direction, and how far off they are, how far off where they should be that they really are.
Yeah, maybe I would say how far off they both have come. I can see a lot of signs of improvement in Man United. Again, just that final third now, that top half of the pitch with the lack a little bit of quality.
Look, they sat in a 5-4-1, they sat deep. That's not what Manchester United are.
Yeah, but I suppose if he goes gung-ho and he goes after them and Man City pick them off, everyone says he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's a system manager. So he can't win at Amorim, but I see a lot of improvement in that Man United team already. Man City at the moment, I see a lot of problems. I also see some question marks around Pep, because that was a very old midfield that he chose again, and it didn't work again. But in recent times, he's had the argument of people have been injured. Everyone's fit and available. He left Doku, Savinho on the bench, Gonzalez, who they brought in as well. So it seems to me that he's trying to hold on to some nostalgia while doing a rebuild, and I think that's a dangerous place for Man City.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked that when he's lining up against a 5-4-1, there's no real width there, as you say.
Yeah.
I mean, Savinho didn't get off the bench. Doku came on as a sub. Jack Grealish came on as a sub. So I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was trying to dominate the football. I could see the idea: dominate the ball, make this Man City team run around a lot, because that's obviously what Amorim wants. As they tire, then you put the fast wingers on. There should be more space, and you can go and kill them. But I thought Doku was poor again when he came on. Jack struggled to get in the game. It was just a scrappy, bitty game, wasn't it? Where there's no real quality throughout. He kind of needed Man U to score in that first minute when Garnacho goes through. If they go and score, maybe it makes it a different game. But it just became, unfortunately, like most of the games yesterday, it was the hardest match of the day I've ever had to do with 4 games. We were struggling.
2-0-0s.
Yeah, we were struggling to try and get highlights, never mind packages to make about tactical breakdowns. So thank God for Liverpool-Fulham. Managed to get 3 runs out of that. So it was good,
Yeah, well, obviously we'll talk a lot about Liverpool, who sort of self-destructed, didn't they, at Craven Cottage. Fulham were brilliant, by the way. I mean,
exactly.
A lot of credit to them. And we'll probably touch on Marco Silva later on as well. Fulham fans won't like me saying about how long is he going to be at Fulham, because there are some big boys who are going to be looking for new managers. But at the bottom of the table, Southampton, the earliest side ever to be relegated from the Premier League, 7 games to go. They're still trying to get past that 11-point total that Derby went down with in 2009. Their boss, Ivan Juric, was asked if that's something they focus on.
Yes, we discussed about that. We don't want that happen, that we are worst team in the history of Premier League. It's a goal, and we want to win the matches and not be the worst team in the history of Premier League.
Well, it's all subjective whether the worst team in history or not. What isn't subjective is that they've been relegated from the Premier League before anybody else in the history of the Premier League. People will say, well, they're back in the Championship. I think the club put out a statement, didn't they, yesterday, saying we've confirmed our place in the Championship. They'd obviously been told they weren't allowed to use that R word, relegation. We've confirmed our place in the Championship, as if it was an achievement, for goodness sake. I worry about them next season, Troy.
Yeah, I do as well. And the reason I worry about them is that I don't know what the plan is. So you started with Russell Martin, very passing. Everyone's technically football players, and they want to move well. And then you go to Juric, who is very defensive and counter-attacking. You don't have the players to do that style. And yesterday, and not just yesterday, probably the last 5-6 weeks, it's been a case of what are we? Some players are going to press, some players are sitting off, and unfortunately they don't have the quality. It's not a nice thing to say. I've been there as a player where people are questioning your abilities. You know how good you are just to get there, but at the moment they're all over the place. So they go and get a Championship manager now to get them out, and then change manager again in the summer. It's a huge rebuild, but I think it's one that needs to start at the top. They've got a passionate owner who spends a lot of money by all accounts. But it needs to be a case of who are we, what are we, and have a united front, because at the moment the mixed messaging is killing that football club.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had a net spend of about 120 million in the summer. But you look at the players they've got now, and you got to put question marks over who wants to play in the Championship. Tyler Dibbling, Walker Peters, Ramsdale, obviously, Harwood Bellis, maybe Fernandez as well. What happens to those players? It's going to be a big summer as far as Southampton are concerned, that's for sure. Morning, boys. Unnamed texter, give a shout out to Aldershot beating rivals Woking and making it to Wembley. Yeah, well done, Aldershot. First time in their 99-year history they're at Wembley in the final of the FA Trophy. Completely sold out, by the way, at Aldershot at the weekend as well. They came from behind to win 2-1, and well done to National League North Spennymoor.
What a game that was.
Equalised in the 95th minute at Rochdale. Brilliant from their point of view, not from Rochdale's, obviously. And then they went on and won the penalty shootout. And Graham Lee, who is their manager, is just one of the nicest men you will ever meet. So it's a fantastic occasion for the Moors going to Wembley, where they will face Aldershot in the final of the FA Trophy. Good luck to them both. Monday morning, we need your calls. Gary Neville hammered the amount of entertainment we see in the Premier League. What's to blame? Troy, you just heard him say everyone should support Nottingham Forest and their old school style of play. We want to hear from you. Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester fans, what's gone wrong this season? Is the gap simply too big? Has your approach been wrong? We want to hear from you. 03717 223344. Let us know.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.